one of the things I love about your perspective, Ken, and a real reason why I wanted to have you on the show is because of how you're viewing that. Because some people might not know that you're a born again Christian, that you've spoken openly about how God has shaped and changed your life. I talk about my faith a lot on this show. And it's funny because we didn't hear you talking that much in the WWF days. You didn't hear you cutting that many promos. And now obviously speaking to you, you are such a great talker and you've got such a great perspective. How important is it for you to be kind of sharing that testimony of what God has done in your life?
Yeah, just like, and I think this is probably something that a lot of people need to hear, is that when someone says, like myself, and say that I'm a Christian, and I've been a Christian since I was 10 years old when I first accepted the Lord, and I went into group homes and I got pulled away and I went down the wrong path, and people would look at it and say, well, you weren't a Christian. No, I believed in God. I wasn't living like I was supposed to be living. It's the same thing in pro wrestling. Whereas, I didn't talk much about it because I got caught up in a whirlwind and doing things I shouldn't probably be doing. But it happens to everyone, and I think that's the important message. When you profess and you say, I know Christ, I have a relationship with Christ. It's not about the Christian part or the faith part or the religion part. It's the relationship that you have with Christ. And that's what carries you. And because sometimes you don't do the right things, or maybe you're off on some binge, and then you turn around and whoa, I got to pull this back. And you go out and people start talking and you say, hey, I have a relationship with Christ. And they look at you and go, yeah, you're fake. You have to understand it. We as believers aren't perfect. And we continue to have faith in Christ, even through times where we're not living like we're supposed to. We're sending the wrong messages to other people looking. But that doesn't mean that you're not a believer. It doesn't mean you don't believe in Christ. It just means you're not particularly where you need to be at that point. And I think that's with anything in life, whereas that there's a lot of times where we're doing stuff, but we're not really at what we're doing at 100%. We're taking time off and we're not doing what we're supposed to be 100% of us. So let's not focus so much on that part where someone says, I am a Christian, or I believe in God. I have a relationship with God. But it's more about the journey that you have with Christ, because anything else, you're going to have your ups and downs, anything else. And it's the same thing in your relationship with Christ, or a wife, or a brother, or a family member. There's ups and downs, and that's what relationships are. And that's why I say it's important. Obviously, Christian part is something you can say, but it's important that you understand that you have a relationship with Jesus Christ, because you know that there's ups and downs in those relationships, and you're trying to fix them.
Yeah, and I mean, you're certainly someone who has had a remarkable life, to say the least. I mean, this says a lot, Ken, because this is a copy of your Jonathan Snowden's Shamrock book, and that's how many post-it notes I've got in it because of the notes I've made. I've read this book from cover to cover countless times now, because I was for wrestling stuff and UFC stuff, yes, but I was actually so captivated by your life and your upbringing and everything you've gone through. Obviously, a lot of that kind of paves the way for the Lions Den, this MMA training camp that you founded 30 odd years ago and still going strong. What does the Lions Den mean to you in 2025?
Yeah, it's history. It's a part of who Ken Shamrock is and always will be. And just like with anybody, you have things in your life that you're like, I wish I could have done better, and you have things in your life where you are very, very happy. And I'm in that situation where the happiness, this is my happiness and everything that I have done in my life. And this is the stuff that I regret.
Yeah.
I mean, the balance, I believe, is overwhelmingly joy.
Amazing. And that's all any of us can really wish for in this life, really, isn't it? Is for that balance to be weighted in the right direction.
Absolutely. And if you read that book, which I know a lot of people have, that's why, and we just had that conversation earlier about having a relationship with Christ. Because when people read stuff like that, they're going to think you're a false prophet. Or if they don't understand what it is to have a relationship with Christ, it doesn't mean you're perfect. It even doesn't mean you're even close to perfect. You can be so far to the other way that you're not doing the right things because you still haven't learned. You still haven't got where you need to be. But doesn't mean you give up on that relationship.
Yeah.
With anything in life, when it comes to relationships, you don't give up on it, man. You keep working at it. You keep finding the sweet spot and trying to do the right thing to make it work.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I wanted to go back to kind of going back to that time period we were talking about, like shortly after the Montreal screw job and what happened to Brett. Interestingly, that was the only time you end up headlining a pay-per-view for WWF was December 97. Great match against Shawn Michaels. But that's coming so soon after what happened at Montreal and lots of emotions going into that. What was that like working with Shawn in that match, given how close you were to Brett?
Yeah, I was friends with all of them. I didn't have issues with anyone. I've had problems with different guys, but life's too short to hold on to things that you just out of your control. But Shawn Michaels was, from all the things that I heard, and how he was, this and that, I never saw it. I thought we were great together. We worked good together. He was pleasant to me, respectful to me. We put on a great match. But again, I can see some of the things that unfolded, where I could see why people would say those things about Shawn. But I think the real Shawn, I think we see now today. I think now you see who he really is. And he's a good guy.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I think wrestling kind of, and us as wrestling fans, because we remember things from certain times in our life. So to me, 1997 doesn't seem that long ago through the veneer of wrestling, but it's almost 30 years ago. And people change a lot in that time, but you almost get stuck in like this. It's like you're stuck in a time bubble, isn't it? Like you remember people how they were, not how they are now. And it's been amazing to see Shawn's journey and how he's grown as a person since then.
Yeah, I mean, he made a tremendous decision. He's definitely able to be comfortable because he did so many great things in wrestling, and he made so many people happy. And he really helped a lot of people get through a lot of different hard times because of the joy he brought to people. So those are things that I think that he could truly hang his hat on and really, really use that popularity that he was able to gain through that character to really help a lot of people understand, having a life of fulfillment and what that looks like.
Yeah, well, much like you've done and you're doing as well, Ken.